good.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start by thanking the incredible men and women of the Albany Police Department who put their lives in harm's way last evening and who performed in a way that I think should make every single resident of this city and this state proud. I want to thank the other agencies that assisted alongside our police department, that provided support last evening, including the Albany Fire Department, the New York State Police, the Albany County Sheriff, the Colony Police, the Bethlehem Police, Rensselaer, the Manans Police, Water Fleet, the FBI, and Governor Cuomo's office for their support for the response last night. And I want to thank the men and women of our Department of General Services who literally worked around the clock to clean up, to try to secure businesses, to try to keep our streets clean and clear, and put themselves in harm's way. And I also want to thank our community members who have come forward, who have contacted me with messages of help, and who at this very moment are doing a cleanup at Arch and Trinity, and who are coming together because this community is better than what we saw last night. And this community stands together and stands with one another to ensure that every neighborhood and every community here is safe. I'm now going to turn things over to Chief Hawkins and Deputy Chief Hogan, who are going to provide a timeline of what happened last night.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I have the utmost respect for the rights of individuals to peacefully protest social injustices. And I understand totally why so many people across the country are so angry and frustrated and saddened by the disturbing series of events that we've seen in Minnesota, Georgia, and New York City. But as the chief of police of this city, charged with safety and security, I found it absolutely disgraceful what we saw last night in our city, where we had agitators, many of whom we believe are not even from the city of Albany, who used that occasion to engage in unlawful, unprovoked acts of violence against innocent people's public property. This city did not deserve that. The people in this city did not deserve that. And like the mayor said, we have some incredibly engaged people in this community that are willing, able, and have been in the past and will in the future work with us to pick up the pieces and make things even better in this community. And we thank all of our partners for helping us get through last night. As the mayor touched on, we had help from law enforcement agencies at all levels, federal, state, county, local level. Our great fire department in the city of Albany was right there with us. And the people in this city, the great people in this city, stood up and said that what happened last night is unacceptable. So we're ready to move forward. We're ready to work with people in this community to make a statement that those sorts of things that we saw last night are absolutely unacceptable. There are other ways of expressing what many of us feel may be acts of social injustice. We're ready to move forward. But I want to turn it over now to Deputy Chief Brian Hogan to give you a timeline of the sequence of events that happened last night so that the community has an understanding of what happened and why the police department took the actions that it did. Deputy Chief Hogan.
Good morning, everybody. So yesterday we had a peaceful event, protest that started off approximately 1 p.m. up in Townsend Park. There was a planned march protest throughout the city. The Albany Police Department supported that endeavor by having our officers out there safely helping them traverse through the city. So there was no accidents, no pedestrians were injured or anything like that. That was successful. That was a uneventful protest. No violence, no incidents, no protest came back to Townsend Park. There were some speakers there. Approximately half an hour into that, I would say about 150 people broke off from that group, came down here to the Capitol area for some protesting. The main body of the original protest pretty much had dissipated. About 300 additional people came down to the area of the Capitol here and onto the governor's mansion protesting. They eventually made their way down to the South Station, our police station down on the south end. At that point, they were there, met by officers in the parking lot area off the South Station. We really had no incidents there. They were protesting, again, uneventful. At a certain point, most of the group broke off and walked away, and we had no further contact with that group. Approximately 25 people stayed behind and just wanted to talk to officers and just be heard. So that occurred. Eventually, we brought our officers inside, and everybody was leaving the area. That was probably around 5 p.m. last night. Around 6 o'clock, folks started coming back into the parking lot area at the South Station, throwing bricks and rocks and bottles at some of our police vehicles, causing some damage, stealing some property out of some of the police vehicles. At that time, we did form a line and try to move people out of the parking lot. We were in a situation where rocks and bottles were being thrown over buildings from where we could not see into the area where our officers were. We got a couple officers that were hit with bricks and injured. Some of the protesters were also getting hit with stuff just in the parking lot. At that time, we moved them out of the parking lot onto the street area. We continued to get rocks and bottles, and some incendiary devices were starting to be thrown onto the street. Some fires were lit on the street. At that time, we moved the crowd off Park Street and onto Pearl Street. And again, there were several fires and incidents down there. And that is pretty much how that event unfolded down.
Thank you. One thing that I want to be clear about is that there has been a lot of discussion about the police in riot gear. Our police officers did not don their riot gear until the vandalism started to occur in the parking lot. When they first confronted the protesters at South Station, they were not in riot gear. They put on that protective gear after rocks and damage was being done in the parking lot to police vehicles. So I just want to be clear because I think there's been some misinformation about that. During the peaceful protest, our officers were not in riot gear. We were not expecting a riot. We were expecting a peaceful protest, and that is what we were prepared for. That peaceful protest ended. And again, I join our chief in solidarity and in understanding the pain and the suffering associated with what we saw happen to George Floyd and what we have seen happen across this country. And we saw protests happen peacefully across this country. And similar to what happened here in Albany, after those peaceful protests seemed to come to an end, violence erupted. And that violence was not about a protest. That violence was about a riot. There are really, from our standpoint and my standpoint, I acknowledge that there is a tremendous amount of pain. There is pain because what we witnessed with a police officer literally suffocating an individual in custody. That causes incredible pain, anxiety, hurt. I share that pain. I share that anxiety. I share that hurt. We felt suffering over these last months because of the coronavirus pandemic, a pandemic that has disproportionately impacted our Black and brown communities. This pandemic has caused tremendous anxiety, anger, frustration, depression. These are real and tangible. I see suffering every day in this city. I worry the most about our kids. We will help those small businesses. We will help one another. But I want to say this. Today is a day for us to all take a deep breath. We need to stay home. Keep your kids home. Let's step back. Let's let the community members who are helping to clean up, clean up. Let's let our cast members who are here to help clean up. But I ask you to stay home. In order to try to clear cars off the street and keep people safe, I signed an emergency order instituting a curfew yesterday through 7 a.m. this morning. I'm extending that curfew today. It will take effect at 7 p.m. I'm asking people to stay home so that we can have calm, so that we can have peace, so that people can be safe, so that we can all take a deep breath and think about how we can come together and rebuild this city and rebuild this community. Because this is a city that cares. I love this city, and I know that people across the city love this city, and they want to help. So I want to assure you that we are going to do all that we can to keep our city safe, and to keep our businesses safe, and to keep our people safe.
Thank you, Mayor.
How many arrests were made last night, if there were any arrests made, and what were they charged with?
We had 2 arrests last night for ancillary offenses. I believe they were both property crime-related incidents.
And when you say that you believe that some of the people who turned violent last night were not from the city of Albany, could you give us a little bit more information about how you come to that conclusion, where you think they're from?
Yes, I would like to hear that too
Yeah,
as well.
a lot
I'm
of
not
it is,
from
a
here.
lot of it is anecdotal, and a lot of it because we had a lot of community members who were there, and people who are well connected in this community, who've been in this community for many, many years. And like the mayor said, many of those people have reached out to the mayor's office and they've reached out to the police department. And anecdotally, they're telling us that the agitators, the ones who were engaging in these unprovoked acts of violence, were people that they didn't recognize.
Oh,
They didn't know those people.
Really?
And so we'll know more because we have some intelligence that we're working with, and we want to let the community know that we are going to be working very, very hard to bring those individuals to justice who did those disgraceful acts in this community.
Can you provide an update? And I don't know your rank, I apologize. I know your last name is Hogan. The injuries that the officers received that were hit by the bricks, we'd like to know how they're doing and how many.
There was multiple officers that were struck by bricks and rocks and bottles. One officer went up to the hospital with a head injury. He's home recovering now. And the other officers are all
A head injury from a brick?
yes.
That's not good.
He was wearing a protective helmet at the time.
Mayor, the governor hasn't said anything publicly for at least 18 hours. Has he spoken to you? What has he said to you? And what's your reaction to that?
The governor's office reached out to me really almost as soon as we realized that we had a situation that was beyond, it was no longer a protest, but that was a riot, and offered their support. We've been in touch with emergency services, and he has placed at our disposal the resources that we need. As you know, there was violence across upstate and across the country last night. This was violence that occurred, and looting that occurred in many cities across the country. I want to commend our police department. I think that if you, not I think, I know, if you look at the video, and I've seen lots of video that's on Facebook and on social media, of the restraint that was shown by police officers who were literally having incendiary devices thrown at them, at our forces, garbage cans, garbage, things being set on fire. And the restraint that was shown, I think, is demonstrated in the fact that we were trying to keep people safe. We made 2 arrests for ancillary charges, and we were working to keep people safe. And I also want to point out that we had a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old who were shot last night. So in addition to responding to this violence, we were also responding to other calls that were happening in the community. This police department acted professionally. They acted in a way that anybody who is protesting what they have seen out there should be pointing to and saying, this is what a police department is supposed to be doing. This is how they are supposed to be responding. They stood peacefully as people protested and shouted and vented their frustration. And that is what professionalism looks like.
Mayor, by extending the curfew to tonight, are you worried that there's another round of protests or violent protests coming tonight?
We are unsure what to expect, and so on behalf of the residents of our city who want to feel safe and our businesses that want to be safe, we've determined that we're going to extend that curfew. We yesterday at 5 o'clock, we were all smiling. We were proud of what happened in this city. I won't say proud of people who came out and protested because, you know, we do have coronavirus. But, you know, if we were going to come out and protest, if you looked at the video of the protest, people were wearing masks. They were social distancing, right? They were doing things in a responsible way. They were making their voices heard. And that protest ended peacefully. What happened at South Station was a riot. And so I do not want to associate the peaceful protesters who came out and who had the right to make their voices heard with what happened afterwards.
Mayor, did you have the streets blocked off knowing that these protests were going to happen? You take preventive maintenance and had the streets blocked off, like you did when the people were going to protest about opening their businesses. And you took time to block the streets there. Were these streets blocked off?
So we did have a route that the protesters provided us. They didn't stick to that route. We had essentially a rolling roadblock with using our neighborhood engagement officers on bicycles, our traffic safety units with vehicles, and then some guys that came up with closing intersection law.
Chief Hopkins, can I direct this to you, please?
Alcoholism are off the charts right now. Gunshots are double. And a lot of this is because we're walking around and told we can't leave our houses. So is anybody here fighting for the fact that it's time to move to phase 2 and phase 3 with the coronavirus? And this
That's not the issue today, man. That's not the issue
Is that
today.
possible? Mayor?
That's not the issue.
Any other questions?
Can I ask you a question? I have a question for Chief Hawkins, please, straight from the office of Dr. Alice Green. They did a survey in August, right? And they provided the police department as well as City Hall the results, showing that, this is their words, the black and brown community did not trust, did not have a good relationship with the police department. They ignored it as unscientific. So there wasn't a warning to you per se, but in general, they felt that the relationship wasn't good and made worse by others' response to that.
This affecting everybody over the whole entire planet. We learn about that. Keep it in there. I don't like to state that with
We understand that there are members of communities, not just in Albany, but across the country, that don't trust the police. And it's something that's historical, it's something that we understand, and it's something that we've been working very, very hard over the years. It's something that is so ingrained in our society that it's not changed overnight. And so what I try to explain to people who are a little impatient is that they have to give us some patience. They have to let us methodically work our way through some of these issues where we're building trust. And I think we've done a great job of that. You know, I've been here a year and a half, and we've expanded our community policing programs. We have some ideas where we can promote women and minorities to join the Albany Police Department that we're going to be starting very, very soon. We've reached out to all members of this community, and so we're very open and transparent. And so I understand that there are people who are impatient and want this whole systemic thing to be turned around overnight. But my answer to this community, and my pledge to this community, is that this department is working very, very hard, and we're making some positive movements every single day to build bridges in this community.
Were you on scene last night, and you're the leader of the police department? What was your message to your men and women who are, you know, gearing up and at one point have to put on this protective equipment that, you know?
My message to my men and women was, in the immediate aftermath of when we saw what happened out in Minnesota, was that we had to be aware of the issues. And I asked all of the men and women in the Albany Police Department to review the video from Minnesota, to become acquainted with all of the issues involved with that, because what's happening in other parts of the country will impact how we interact with members of our community. And we have to understand that some of our members of our community are going to be pained, they're going to be angry, they're going to be frustrated, and we have to understand that we have to listen to that and allow them to communicate that to us, and in turn communicate to members of our community what we're going to do in order to help them to understand how we're going to build bridges in our community.
Was an in-person briefing provided last night before they all came out?
Were you on the scene last night, and if not, why not? Why were you not on the scene last night?
Because I had other business.
What was your other business?
And I was communicating all day with my command staff, giving direction of this whole event the entire time that I was there.
Were you in Albany yesterday?
I was not at the scene, sir.
Where were you?
I was not at the scene.
Is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem.
In retrospect, do you think that was a good idea not to be in Albany yesterday, knowing that the protest was going on?
It was it was not a problem, because the issue that I had to deal with occurred prior to this issue, that this protest that we had. I was in constant contact with my staff. I was in contact with my staff from the very outset, all day Friday, all day Saturday, up until this morning. So there were no communication gaps. There was no lack of direction with my staff.
Do you think, as a leader of the city, of the police, the Albany Police Department, that you should have been here?
I think as a leader, leaders sometimes have other obligations that occur before a crisis hits. And I think a leader has an obligation, once they understand that there's a crisis, to get back to the city and lead the city as expeditiously as possible. And that's exactly what I did.
When did you get back to the city?
How do you tell that to a business owner that lost your life savings?
Could you give some more details on the number of businesses that were damaged the extent of the damage last night? How many businesses? What's the damage that happened? How many buildings were set on fire? Things like that.
Sure.
Could you give us more of an idea of the extent of the damage that occurred last night? How many buildings and businesses were attacked, vandalized, set on fire? What are we looking at in the city? Where were they located?
And cost too.
Yeah, and cost too.
Cost, yeah.
So a majority of the businesses that were damaged here beyond the Central Avenue corridor and the area surrounding that. We're still taking reports right now. It's thousands of businesses that were affected by this. Some got damaged, property damage, including larceny.
Okay. And Mayor, I have a quick question for you. There are some people who criticize Mayor's decisions to issue curfews. They say that it just can lead to more opportunity for police to interact with citizens that are out, whereas they could already be arresting citizens that are actually causing the issues. What's your response to the criticisms to city leaders deciding to issue those curfews?
I mean, in principle, I do not believe in curfews. I think that they do, when they're instituted, oftentimes cause more problems than they solve. But in an emergency situation when we're trying to get cars off the road and people to safety, I believe that that is a time when curfews are warranted. This is not about the police stopping and hassling people for being out. This is about a curfew that we are putting out there as a signal to our residents to be safe. I would love to say that everybody can come out today and tonight and there aren't going to be any problems. I cannot say that with confidence. And so what I would want from my leaders, if I were a resident, is to be told the truth. And that is that the safest thing for people to do is to stay home today and to stay home tonight. And let's take a deep breath and work to get through this. And that is why we have instituted a curfew. It is not about hassling people. It is not about, giving the police the opportunity to intervene with people who are acting lawfully. It's a way to get cars and people off the streets.
Did that work last
If
night?
reporters told the police yesterday when they got on scene that they'd like to speak to the officers, and the officers were told that they were going to come down and riot here, Is there a response to that? And have you seen the Flint police response, Chief? Have you seen the Flint police response to the